Hey guys, what's going on? Cowboy here, and today I'm going to be bringing you another class build video. I had a couple requests after the Siren video I had put up, so now I'm going to be bringing my Gunzerker to you. Got him all leveled up and been going around killing some pirates and chasing booty with this new DLC, so I'm going to show you what I think is the best way to go out there and slaughter an army of pirates. So, out of the three trees of the Gunzerker, I decided to go with Rampage, and the key reason for that is with Rampage, you basically can just keep Gunzerking indefinitely. And I mean, that's the most fun thing about this class, in my opinion. You know, like, it's a first-person shooter mixed with an RPG. So obviously, the gunplay is going to be a huge dynamic in the game. So being able to use two guns at once just makes it like twice as awesome. So, with that being said, obviously Rampage was my tree of choice. So, similar to the last video, I'm going to go over the different skills, explain the pros and cons of each, and then we'll take it from there. So to start, we have Inconceivable. You know, shots have a chance not to consume ammo. Obviously, if you're going to be gunzerking, you know, you want to just be able to keep firing, so a 50% chance to not fire ammo, that's pretty legit right there. And filled to the brim, we only have 3 points, really just to progress throughout the tree. But, you know, increased magazine size, increased ammo, you know, also no downside. I mean, it's going to let you shoot longer, it's going to let you, you know, have more ammo ready to go backed up. Both just nice core skills to have. Moving on, we have Last Longer, and this is where we really start to get into the build of Gunzerking indefinitely. So right here we get 15 seconds. I mean, there's no downside. You're just Gunzerking longer, you know, no argument. All on the reflexes. The reason we're going to skip this, and we'll go into that later, but part of this build is going to be comboing autoloader with locked and loaded. So reload speed basically becomes useless to us because we're going to have instant reloads. So therefore, unless you feel you need the melee damage, I'm not trying to melee stuff, I'm trying to shoot it in the face with two guns. So we obviously skip that. Moving on, obviously steady as she goes is going to be an awesome one to get. I mean, especially if you're going to be dual wielding guns that have a ton of recoil, like, you know, SMGs or some of the assault rifles. You're going to want that recoil reduction, and on top of that, you know, each time you hit an enemy, you get a 30% chance to improve your accuracy. There's no downside there. So, you know, it's 1 point, pick it up. 5 shots or 6. It's a kill skill. Killing an enemy just adds more ammunition, and this one just goes hand in hand with our Inconceivable. So, you know, right here we got 50% chance for our ammo to basically not cost anything, and then right here we get a 25% chance to add more ammo instead of spending it. So the whole idea around this is we're going to keep ammo flowing in, we're not going to be running out. With I'm ready already, and you'll notice I skipped not only this, which is the Gunzerking cooldown rate, but also Get Some, which also reduces the cooldown by shooting enemies. And the reasoning behind this is if you can keep, with the right playstyle, basically when you pop Gunzerking, you will go through an entire room and just clear it, and your Gunzerking will stay active the entire time. So basically, when you're fighting, you're not going to need to worry about your cooldown. Your Gunzerking is just going to stay up. And when you eventually get done slaughtering everything and your Gunzerking goes down, in general, the time it takes to get back up, well, it's probably going to take you that amount of time to get to the next group of bad guys, just because, you know, you're going to, with this build, you are just going to wreck through everything. And we have that, that's what Yippee is for. So basically, Gunzerking as a base, I believe, is, I think it's 30 seconds. Yeah, 30 seconds. And then we have 15 added to it. So now we're looking at 45 seconds. Then we add in Yippee. So now we're going to get an extra 3 seconds with each kill. So not only are you already at almost, you know, just a couple kills in, and you're at a minute worth of Gunzerking. And I mean, obviously, you know, rooms are going to be flooded with bad guys. So the more bad guys, the longer you're going to Gunzerk. And, you know, basically you'll just keep blowing through everything. You know, just shoot. Eventually the room's cleared out. Then your Gunzerking goes on cooldown. But at that point, you know, I mean, you need like a, you know, 30 seconds, you need a minute. You need some time to pick up loot afterwards. So right here we got a 42-second cooldown. You know, I think after slaughtering a room full of bad guys, that 42 seconds is a good amount of time to let me go around and, you know, sort through all the weapons and whatnot. So it works out. Anyway, back to the build. Double your fun. Also, a one-pointer. No downside to this. I mean, you throw a grenade and it chucks out an extra one for you. And especially when you get some of the later stuff. I mean, I use the bonus package, which with bonus package, that skill just becomes ridiculous. You basically throw 2 bonus packages and anything that's in a room just explodes. So, awesome skill. As I said, get some. Also, we don't really have a need for it with I'm ready already, just because we're not going to be worried about our cooldown. And then finally we have keep firing, which is, it's just fun. You just hold down your triggers, fire rate's up 88%. I mean, the reload speed, that's not necessary, but the fire rate is what's really nice about this. Because we're going to get to a point with this where basically our guns just blow through their clips. So, after that, we're going to move on to the Gunlust Tree. And this is a critical part of the build because you're going to want to work these skills into it as well. So, the first skill I'd recommend leveling up is going to be Quickdraw. And this is because, well, obviously critical hit damage, it's always a good thing. But then the 70% weapon swap speed, that's where that's where the goodness really comes in. Obviously, my class mod boosted up a ton, but that weapon swap speed, since we're not worried about reload time, every time we kill something from autoloader, our guns reload. So basically, you're just going to be firing, something's dead, you swap. And well, that's why we obviously have locked and loaded. So with locked and loaded, we get that 50% fire rate bonus every time we switch weapons. And on top of that, we get 88% fire rate bonus from keep firing. So overall, you have a pretty consistently high fire rate. I mean, right when you switch your weapons, you're going to be at 50%, and then that's going to go up to 88% with Rampage. So, I mean, you can see how, you're just adding up the numbers. It obviously gets pretty high up there. Moving on, all I need is one. I didn't find this all that good. I mean, max level, you're going to get an extra 40% damage on one shot. Like, I don't know. I just feel like one shot doing extra 40% damage doesn't really seem worth it. I'm Your Huckleberry. Now, this one, it's up in the air. I mean, if you're using pistols a lot, this is obviously going to be worth it because you're going to get, the pistol damage out of it. But, I mean, just compared to Divergent likenesses, you could look at it like this. With here, if you're using, let's say you're dual wielding pistols, you're going to get, 15% damage out of the pistols. Or with Divergent likenesses, you're going to get 30% damage if you're dual wielding pistols. So, in the end, I'm Your Huckleberry isn't really worth it, especially since we don't really need the reload speed. We can just skip that and go on to Divergent likenesses. Now, the nice thing about this is obviously you can count it as static 30% damage or 30% accuracy. Personally, I do it for the accuracy because if you have, let's say you have 2 assault rifles on. With 2 assault rifles on, the thing is you will only actually, as you can see, the ammo count, you're only getting 1 assault rifle ammo despite having 2 guns. So, yeah, you're getting extra damage, but if you're going to be firing with, 2 SMGs or 2 assault rifles at once, you're not going to generate that ammo as fast as you would. I mean, you're going to go through it a lot quicker than, you're pulling it back in. So, because of that, personally, I prefer to use, 2 separate guns, because you can see the ammo generation on the assault rifle is the same rate, but this way, I'm not expending twice as much ammo as I'm regenerating. So, back to the build. And even then, I mean, 30% accuracy is still a great thing. You can't scope when you're in Gunzerking, so, extra accuracy is what's going to help you land those shots. No downside to it. And then, obviously, autoloader, as we already talked about. You kill something, your guns are instantly reloaded. And, as you can see, we basically swap right after we killed something, and that's going to trigger locked and loaded. So, right when we switch our weapons after killing somebody, we're jumping up that 50% fire rate instantly. And then, finally, we have down and not out. And this is another key one you have to get with Rampage, because, I mean, nothing's worse than having, you're in the middle of Gunzerking, you're slaughtering a room, and then that one badass hits you with something and you go down. And then you lose your Gunzerking. And then you're like, oh, you're like a fish out of water. So you really have to have down and not out to be successful with this build, just because that's what's going on. I mean, you're going to be Gunzerking. If you go down, you're still going to be Gunzerking. You're going to be getting up, and you're still Gunzerking. And that's what this build's all about. It's about, shooting longer, you know, just going around killing stuff, and you don't want anything to be able to stop you. And then I have 2 points over here, similar to how I do with my Siren. You always want to fulfill anything that your class mod's going to improve. So obviously with the legendary mod, it gave me 5 points towards Hards to Kill and Incite. So you might as well drop a point in each. I mean, if it knocks them both up to 6, you know, it's an extra, what is it, 36% movement speed. So, you know, so that's pretty legit right there. If somebody shoots me, I just can run faster towards them to shoot them in the mouth. And hard to kill, you know, extra 24% health and some health regen. It's good stuff to have. So, now going a little bit more into the build, obviously, yes, I have all legendaries by this point. I'm sure you've seen the other videos, but you might already knew that. As I mentioned, I prefer to wield 2 separate guns. In this case, my 2 personal preferences are the Slagga and the Kurt Blaster. And the reasoning behind this is the Slagga has a huge magazine size. I mean, we're sitting at 115, and that's really going to work well hand in hand with our keep firing, because basically that gun is going to get up to a ridiculously fast fire rate. And just to give you an idea of it real quick, you can see as we hold it down, it just gets going. See how it just jumped up a bit there before the Gunzerking ended, but I mean, it just works well. And on top of that, I think that's one of the biggest advantages in Gunzerking is that, you know, you can rock slag with one hand, rock, you know, non-slag with another, and then you're effectively going to double the damage of your secondary weapon. So when I was going through the different weapons, there's a couple different things. I personally like the Kurt Blaster just because, I mean, it's a decently high damage for an assault rifle, blows stuff up, and with slag we're looking at about 60,000 per hit. It ends up working out overall pretty nicely, so obviously I'm going to be rocking pairs of those. In addition to that, I would suggest getting a powerful shield. I think Hide is great for this build. Even though the B will allow you to do more damage, the one downside of the B is, like, you know, once you get hit, you know, we're looking at, it's an extra 52,000 per shot. So, I mean, anything you shoot is going to die. But at the same time, once you get popped once and lose a little bit of that shield, you know, the real power of the B isn't there anymore. And with the Gunzerker, you're always going to be, I mean, if you're playing Gunzerker the way Gunzerker's meant to be played, you're the guy that's like right up in someone's face. You know, you don't see anyone sitting back with like a sniper rifle trying to pop shot enemies with the Gunzerker. It's just not the point of the class. So because of that, I choose not to use the B, at least for most things. I mean, obviously it's still great to kill stuff like, you know, Terramorphous or Veramorphous with, but otherwise, you know, you want a nice shield, and the Hide works particularly well for this because, you know, it goes off. You have spike damage if something hits you. You have the Nova damage. You got a high Nova radius, and you have some Roid damage in case you want to punch something in the face. So makes the Hide a really nice, well-rounded package for this class. Aside from that, I would suggest a Black Hole if you can get one, just because, you know, it's always fun to have enemies yanked over to you when you go down. Aside from that, the only other skill I didn't really touch on here was Money Shot, and the reason I mean, the skill's great in certain instances. I know there's a couple of videos out there where people are using Money Shot to, they basically instant kill Terramorphous with it by having, you know, like 2 conference calls ready to go on the last bullet. And the reason I skip Money Shot is because with this build, I mean, just looking around, we have a 50% chance to get free ammo. You know, we're going to be adding bullets here, and we have a higher clip capacity here. So we're basically extending the amount of time we can fire our guns. So because of that, Money Shot doesn't really just work well with this build. Like with different builds, I mean, if you're burning through your ammo real fast and you're constantly getting that extra, you know, 400% damage boost, it's a great skill to have. But in a spec where, you know, with a spec like this where you're meant to be able to keep firing like near indefinitely, it's not really gonna come out all that well. And on top of it, I'm not sure why, but with the Kurt Blaster, at least when I was testing it, I couldn't see. I mean, I'd be firing off the last shot and it wouldn't proc that, you know, 400% damage. So I ended up dropping it out of the build. But aside from that, that's the spec. You know, we're gonna go through, kill some pirates, go steal some booty real quick, so you can get to see an idea of how well it works in action. Alright, let's give it a second here. Wait for our Gunzerking to come on up. It's just about there anyway. Let's see, where are these pirates at? There we go. Now we got some pirates coming out. As you can see, with people slag, we're hitting 67,000 on our Archer Blaster, which is pretty nice damage. As I said, you can see we're one-shotting just about everything here. I mean, given we're running legendary weapons, it's pretty easy. And then, like I said, obviously you're going to want down and not out, so that you still get that bonus while you're in second wind. And basically with this build, the idea is, you know, Slagga, we don't really stop shooting. Every time something dies, we're going to switch our weapons, just because we get that free reload. Oh, there they are. Man, it is dark out.
I am alive!
Where's he at? Where are they, above me? But I mean, obviously, this probably wasn't the best area to try and showcase it, since it's dark and I can't see where half these damn bandits are hiding. But I mean, as you can see, we were able to clear out most of them in the duration of our Gunzerking. And then obviously now we're going to go around, pick up some quest items, and by the time we're done snagging most of this stuff up, Gunzerking will probably be off cooldown. One pain in the ass. What is this? Bad pirate. Bad pirate. Nope. He's a rich pirate. But anyway, guys, that's all there is to it. You know, Gunzerker's a really fun class to play, so if you got one, try it on out and tell me how you like the build. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you with our next video.